Sometimes I come across things, as I did today, and I think I have to share this with our audience. And so I thought I'd come into the studio and let you know what I was reading about. Because when I first saw the headline, I thought it had to be, what they're calling fake news. Perhaps even urban legend. Turns out, however, upon closer examination, truth is stranger than fiction. The headline read, Switzerland outlaws boiling lobsters alive because they feel pain. Abortion? Well, that's okay. The article by Paul Boyce in the Washington Examiner notes that in this topsy-turvy world of European social think, Down syndrome is disappearing by abortion, flooding your country with hordes of Islamic migrants as compassion, and the boiling of live crustaceans is more horrific than the killing of unborn babies. And the country that Boyce zeroes in on in this race to insanity is Switzerland. Although Switzerland is not alone, the same kind of lunacy holds true in countries like New Zealand. Unborn children, who most certainly can feel the pain of an abortionist killing tool, are not so much as anesthetized, while lobsters, which have no brains and therefore cannot process pain, well, they're now protected by law from being boiled alive. Biological anthropologist Barbara King has well said, it is our ethical responsibility to give them, the lobsters, the benefit of the doubt and not to put them in boiling water. Of course, as the Lobster Institute made plain, as with an insect, a lobster doesn't have a brain, and thus, as neurophysiology makes plain, they can't process pain. The tragic irony is that Switzerland affords lobsters more dignity than preborn children who are not so much as dignified by the benefit of doubt when it comes to pain. And it gets worse. Believe it or not, Switzerland has gone so far now as to amend its constitution to recognize the individual dignity of plants. In fact, they now refer to plants as living beings, and thus consider it immoral to arbitrarily pick a wildflower in a field. Why? Well, because wildflowers and their worldview share biochemical traits with humans, and therefore it is immoral to decapitate them without some very serious consideration. So why all of this fuss about boiling lobsters and picking flowers? Well, the truth, according to Charles Darwin's Tree of Life, contends that humans and flowers have a common ancestor. In fact, according to Richard Dawkins, I like to call him Darwin's Doberman Pinscher, he popularized Darwin, and he's the one most on the vanguard of doing that in the current epoch of time. According to Richard Dawkins, boys and bananas share a common ancestor. And as Darwin famously put it, all the organic beings which have ever lived on this earth have descended from some one primordial form. The fact that Darwin's Tree of Life is uprooted by the Cambrian explosion is conveniently excluded from polite conversation, as is the well-known fact that the fossil record shows no evidence of the origin of species by means of common descent and natural selection. Well, ideas most certainly have consequences, so perhaps next time you eat lobster or give your wife cut flowers, you might want to make sure you've checked your conscience at the door, and never fear the horrors of abortion, because in our age of cognitive dissonance, it has brought us, to the brink of tragic insanity. The plain truth is this: lobsters most certainly do not have brains, and lawmakers in Switzerland are most certainly not using theirs. We read these articles, and sometimes, as I said, truth is stranger than fiction. I really thought this was an urban legend. Turns out, after a little research, I found out it isn't. We should be, as Christians, however, always ready to give an answer, a reason for the hope that lies within us. Do it with gentleness and with respect. Maybe a little sarcasm is necessary at times, particularly in cases like this.